Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you so much indeed for joining me in today's webinar. It's about coaching. It's about teachers. It's about teachers can be magnificent coaches. And I will go on to explain why and what I mean later. But thank you very much indeed for coming along. What I'm going to tell you about today is basically those 5 questions that were on the the landing page. You know, why the sudden need for coaches? Why do teachers make good coaches? What do coaches do? It's always a good one. How do they make money? Which is an incredibly good one. And how can you become a coach? But before I do any of that, I want to I will be talking about what opportunities are available for coaches and what it actually, really look at that, what it takes to be a coach. And you might be surprised on that. I'm going to talk about what I mean about coaching, and we'll take it on from there. But first and foremost, I'm a master distributor for Noble Manhattan Coaching, and my area is the whole of UK and Ireland. As a master distributor, I distribute training courses. I'm not an employer. I do contract trainers and things like that, but apart from that, I don't employ coaches to go out and coach. So I can't offer you a job, I'm afraid. However, what I can do is I can offer you opportunities to upskill, to make you even better prepared for a job, perhaps. But why are you here today? I'm going to guess. I'm going to guess that some of you are fed up with mainstream education and are leaving it. Some of you may already have done that. Some of you may have left thinking they were going to come back and decided perhaps not. Some of you just want to know how much more coaching can bring them. They may want to stay in education. They may want to be able to use coaching for the benefit of their students. And I have spoken to 1 or 2 people who were on the previous webinar about just that. So there are a tremendous number of reasons why you are here today, and probably there's a similar number of reasons as there are people, which is not surprising. You have all got your own personal reasons to say, what is it about coaching? What can I do with it? What is it? How can I use it? How can it make me a better person? How can it help me to help others? Okay, we can go on for that. But again, my background is not in teaching. My background is in the Royal Navy. I spent 25 years in it as a leader, as a manager. And I learned a tremendous amount, which I now realize has helped me. I left 22 years ago. That was a long time. I've been working in small and medium enterprises. In fact, I've been owning them, and I've managed to get rid of a couple of them before COVID struck, thank goodness, because they were retail. And I've been continuing in my role with Noble Manhattan since. I am an accredited coach. I have done the course, I've read the books, I've got the t-shirt. And I use the word accredited coach because because anybody can call themselves a coach. It's not a protected title. Not everybody can call themselves a counselor. You need to be registered for that through the BACP. But anybody can call themselves a coach. So people can go out and be coaches without any training at all. But are they any good? Well, actually, 1 or 2 of them are actually pretty good. The Tony Robbinses of this world, they designed the training, but they're brilliant. But there are also a lot of people who are, dare I say it, charlatans, who use the word coach, but actually they're not coaching, who therefore cause a certain amount of angst on Mumsnet and things like that, call themselves a life coach. They couldn't even organize their own life, let alone mine. But actually coaching is not about organizing people's lives. So in the last 6 years, I've been working with a lady called Raquel Leonello. Now, she's a psychotherapist. Forgive me. Sorry about that. I should have turned that off at the start, shouldn't I? I've been working with Raquel Leonello, and she's a psychotherapist and school coach. And she is a tremendous character, and she's designed a thing called The Other Subject, perhaps a subject that dare not speak its name. And that we are using to help train adolescent coaches or coaches who want to work with adolescents, who want to work with children and things like that. But, and I'll go on to that later. So that's really what I've been doing. I've been helping to work on that area. But what opportunities are there out there for coaches? Well, there could be two. There's the person who wants to be a full-time coach, or even a part-time coach, who wants to be an accredited coach, who wants to use coaching in a professional way. There's also the opportunities of people to learn about coaching so that they can use their formal coaching skills in their everyday life, in their workplace, with their colleagues, with their family. And so there's plenty of opportunities to learn about coaching without necessarily becoming a coach. You can use the coaching in your everyday life. You can use your coaching in your teaching. You can use your coaching with your students because it's a slightly different way of doing things. But coaching is a methodology, I suppose. But what do I mean by coaching? Well, coaching is about supporting people to move from where they are to where they want to be, either through focused listening incisive questioning. But the bottom line is that the coach is not the expert in the problem. The coach is there to support. The client is the expert in the problem, whether they be a 4-year-old, whether they be a 14-year-old, whether they be an 85-year-old. It really doesn't matter. So that is really what coaching is about. And how does it differ from counseling? How does it differ from mentoring? Well, counseling really is about getting to the nub of the problem, digging in there and trying to solve the problem. Coaching is about accepting the problem and moving forward from there. So coaching doesn't work in every situation, nor does counseling. And mentoring, well, mentoring is imparting advice. It's helping people move forward, giving them the opportunity of your experience to help them on with their lives. So normally you're talking about an experienced person and an inexperienced person passing on information to help them grow. Perhaps in coaching we can do some of that. Perhaps when it comes to adolescents and children as well, there are times when actually they haven't got the experience to know the answers. So perhaps there are times when you can provide them with some solutions, but realistically, it's up to them as to how to use it. So coaching can be part of your life. It can be part of your, it can be wholly your life, your life work. But it's up to the individual as to how far they want to go. So opportunities for coaching, well, for just using coaching skills all over the place. As I said, family, friends, work. As a leader, and you are all leaders, you're all leading your classes, if not leading management teams and things like that. Coaching is a tremendous communication way. It helps to empower those who you are working with. So when they come to you with a question, you turn that question around and say, well, what do you think? You don't have to be the expert in that. They are the expert. And I used to be a helicopter pilot. I had a small team of technicians. I wasn't an expert on how to keep that helicopter in the air. I trusted them with my life. I had to. But if they came to me with a problem, I would need to actually ask them to say, well, what are the solutions? And what do you think is the best solution? And to empower them to go away and fix it. I'm still here, so therefore it must have worked. So coaching is not about life coaching. It is not about resilience coaching. It's not about performance coaching. It's not about sort of mental health all the time, although it can work. in a number of ways. So the benefits of coaching are tremendous. As an upskill for a teacher to look elsewhere, perhaps in another job, or even to be promoted within the education organization or what have you, it's tremendous because it becomes a communication skill. It becomes a way of not having to answer all the questions, but forget other people to answer the questions for you. And so therefore it generates that team building, it generates that that leadership opportunity. And therefore in any business, in any walk of life, in any job where there is a leadership opportunity or team opportunity, then coaching as part of a CV, formal coaching qualification, is well respected these days, more and more so in industry, in business, because people are embracing coaching far more than they were in that line. I mean, there is now a high-level apprenticeship in professional coaching, the coaching professional, very much for HR teams and things like that. And so it is becoming more and more pertinent as a way of doing business. So as a leader, you don't just tell people what to do all the time. As a leader, you work with your team so that they will do what you want them to do all the time. And that is a tremendously powerful situation in which to be. So even if you've been in education all of your career, to have the opportunity of coaching is a tremendous opportunity if you want to step out to do something different. It looks good. But why do teachers make magnificent coaches? Well, a lot of coaching is about rapport development. You work with your client, you work with your team, you develop that rapport. Now, as people who work with adolescents and children, you know full well that it is very important to develop that rapport rapidly, otherwise you lose them. And the better you can develop that rapport, the better they respect you, the better they learn what you are trying to teach them. So part of that is rapport development. You are working with people all of the time. You are working with individuals, you are working with groups. And so therefore you have the benefit of all of these, which form part of the makings of a magnificent coach. You have the ability to question, you have the ability to listen, which is already there as part of your job. But do you use those questioning skills? Do you use those listening skills in a slightly more formal way? Are you looking for yes/no answers? Are you asking closed questions? Are you asking open questions? Are you listening actually to what is being said, or what the body of your person you're speaking to, what the body is saying, what the feeling is? Do you get that feeling that what you're saying is not quite what you mean? Or there's something else here, there's something else that I can help you with, but I don't quite know what it is, so you have to dig deeper. And it's trying to get that client subconscious working. So believe it or not, you've got an awful lot of the skills that coaches enjoy having. But I think probably the biggest skill of all is that you're in the teaching world because you enjoy helping people. You may enjoy helping 5-6-year-olds. You may get great delight when they actually achieve something. You may be waiting for those exam results. You may be working with your students, and when that light bulb comes on, you think, that's magic. I love that. Well, it's the same with coaches. And if that's part of the buzz you get, then again, coaching is a great opportunity. So the opportunities that to upskill and to be able to use coaching formally are vast. The opportunities are out there, and half of the time, perhaps you are already using them, but to have that formal coaching training, it gives you the confidence to know that is the that is what you're doing. You know you are using coaching skills. You identify that, yes, they do work. You can, it gives other people the confidence to know that you are on their side apart from anything else. But if you want to go into coaching full time, become an accredited practitioner coach, I use the word accredited because I have actually ticked the boxes of an accrediting body which says I have that experience, I have that training, I abide by the ethics. And there are not that many accredited coaches out there. There are more than there used to be, which is great. But there are still many, many more people who profess to be coaches. And as I say, some of them are very good, but you just don't know quite what you're dealing with. So it gives the clients the confidence to know that they're dealing with somebody who actually cares, who has actually got that experience, who's actually got that training. So, but what is coaching not? Well, we've already said coaching is not counseling, coaching is not mentoring, but it's non-judgmental. There are plenty of people out there who have coaches. There are plenty of high-ranking sports people, high-ranking businessmen, and businesswomen, business people, who have their coaches, to help them with that mindset of achieving great things. They, of course, the sports coaches, they have their coaches who, in the rugby world, the defense coach, the attack coach, the scrum coach, the backs coach. In the tennis world, you know, their coaching technique of how they actually play. But they also have people who help them with that mindset. Now, some sports coaches do both. But if they can help you with that mindset, then that can lead on to greater things. It was never actually said, but when Emma Raducanu was at Wimbledon, I noticed that she was watching the side of the court quite a lot. And at the side of the court was Tim Henman. And from what was said in one or two of the interviews, I understood that Tim Henman wasn't helping Emma on her actual tennis, but he was helping her with her mindset. And it certainly showed, you know, you could see that grit and resilience. You could see she looked towards Tim when she was in that mindset, in that groove, almost to say thank you. I may be wrong, but I think that's what the case was. So when it comes to adolescents, when it comes to children, when it comes to others who may not want to go to counseling because they just don't want to go there, because of what their friends might say and things like that, to actually go to a coach, it sounds like a much better idea. So it's non-judgmental, it hasn't got that stigma. But importantly, it's not about telling people how to run their lives. I've mentioned this before. It's to help them find their own solutions about their lives. And for adolescents and things like that, whose brains are mush because that's the way that teenage brains are redesigning, sometimes you need to help them because you get that, I don't know, you know, what do you really want to do? I don't know. And so therefore you've got to delve deeper. And unfortunately, in the teaching world, because of the pressures of the curriculum and things like that, often you don't have that time to devote to individuals within your class. And understandably, if you've got 30 people all vying for attention because they all got that individual requirement, you haven't got enough time in the day. So this is perhaps where a coach will come in on that line. Now, I'm just going to mention as a bit of caution here that there are a lot of people in the education world who think of coaching as it was 10 to 15 years ago, when the idea was that teachers would be coached. They would go off in their 2s and 3s and learn each other's lessons or learn each other's techniques and improve them. And it became part of the evaluation process. Now, coaching was never about evaluation. And so therefore a euphemism grew up that if a teacher was being coached, it meant that they were underperforming. And I couldn't work out for a long time why, when I spoke to head teachers, SLT team members and things like that, why their eyes would roll heavenwards as soon as I used the word coaching. until it was explained to me just that. This is not the coaching of 10, 15 years ago. This is coaching in a different life. This comes from sort of coaching through business, coaching through sport, but it's helping people with their mindset. It's helping people out of perhaps little hiccups that haven't really become fully, that haven't, thank goodness, had a chance to become fully formed into a mental health issue. Perhaps it's about a bullying situation. Perhaps it's a lack of self-esteem. Perhaps it's a self-belief issue. Perhaps it's just a problem at home. Perhaps it's a I had one year 12. Yep, year 12. I had to try and remember that one. Who came to me because she was, in her words, a perfectionist. But that perfectionism was causing stress, huge amounts of stress. It was causing anxiety. She was under a therapist for anxiety. She was missing school because of this. It was causing procrastination because she didn't want to start an essay because she felt that she wasn't going to be able to get it to that perfect situation. So we chatted about perfectionism, and obviously she was absolutely in the groove for coaching, because she decided that actually, if she limited her time, got on and did it, and just didn't worry about it being 100%, then perhaps it was worth a try. So she did. She spoke with her teachers. She said, I'm not going to try and get 100%. I'm just trying to get an essay together. And she stuck to her guns, and she did. But not only did she do that, but actually she was producing better essays, unsurprisingly, because the stress fell off, the procrastination fell off. She had more time to herself. And what really helped was when she came back to me after her year 12 exams and said, okay, I have upped my grades in every subject, but the important thing is I have survived. I have done every exam. I have not had to get sent home from school because I'm stressed. And that is the first time ever. Now, I wasn't an expert in her life. I wasn't an expert in her subjects. I did maths, physics, and chemistry. She was doing history, politics, and psychology, as far as I remember. But it's about helping them through that issue. And she has become a far stronger character just because we managed to identify early on the situation. But she was the one who did the work to get out of it, not me. And that is where coaching can help tremendously without people having to wait for CAMs and the support teams because they are overstretched. And indeed, I know of one psychotherapist counselor who says, I am fully overstretched, but most of what I'm doing is actually coaching. I'm not actually doing what I'm trained for. I'm helping people out, but effectively it's about coaching. So there are the opportunities out there if people want to go for coaching. But I think the important thing is that coaching can help everybody in any situation. Coaching can help you to upskill. It's a great upskilling route. You have got the basis of coaching already there through your teaching qualifications. You may not actually know it, but the opportunities are there. So what can we offer in Noble Manhattan to help? Well, we've got various levels of training, and the benefit of it is it can be a progressive stepping stone approach. What is important, I know that teachers for 3 terms of the year, for all terms of the year, are maxed out. They are working flat out. They have little time for themselves. So our training courses you do in your own time. Now, it doesn't mean to say that you have to do 6 hours a week or whatever. If you can, brilliant. It could mean that you actually spend 2 or 3 days of a holiday knuckling on and getting down to it. And I'm talking about the practitioner coach diploma. That's 400 hours work. That's a lot, but we give you time to do that. The practitioner coach certificate takes you to the level of coaching where you can use the techniques in your everyday life, at work, in the family, with friends, or what have you. It becomes a way of communication, perhaps. It becomes a way of conversation. It becomes a way of certainly of leading in teams. It comes as a communication route as part of a team. And even within teams, you get the hierarchies and things like that. But coaching can help because it helps to empower others. And I think that's the important thing. It doesn't matter how experienced they are either. It helps to empower. It helps to empower others. So the practitioner coach certificate, that's the certificate course, is about 100 hours. It's all online. It's easy. You get the support of a course tutor. But what it means is that it is an accredited course so that you can put it on your CV and say, I've done a formal coaching course and this is what I've done. You can use it, as I say, in your everyday life. But you can also say, okay, I enjoyed that. I want to take it further. And you can then progress onto the diploma, but you don't have to do any of the work you've already done. It becomes part of the process. You take everything you've done, put it into the diploma, and you carry on from there. We also take what you paid with, with a small administration fee. And so therefore you can sort of subsidize effectively your diploma. Now, the diploma takes you to that level of experience where we at Noble Manhattan believe you are ready to become a professional coach, should you wish. It doesn't mean to say that there are other courses out there that are just as good, that are not as good or even better. That's not for me to say. There are courses out there which are far more academic. There are masters in coaching. And if you are, and if you want to go along the academic route and get a master's in coaching, then the options are there. Our course is a bit more vocational than that. Sure, we ask people to write essays and the like, but you don't have to reference every utterance. You don't, in the academic world, you don't have to do that. The diploma is probably about second year degree level sort of work, but it's reflective work, most of it. You write your essay reflectively. It allows for original thought. It allows people to look deeper into little elements of the subject. It's not just a case of this is what I've learned, so this is what I'm writing down. There's a little bit more research required, just a little bit, but it can be in your own words. We're not marking academically. We're looking for that reflection. We're looking for that progression in understanding about coaching. And so therefore we have the certificate level, we have the diploma level. What we also have in the education world is an adolescent and child coaching program. And effectively there's a foundation, certificate and diploma level. Now the foundation level is all about a 50 PowerPoint toolkit, which can be used for PSHE. It can be used in one-to-one situations. It can be used in group. It's scripted. You don't have to follow the script, but the script is there should you want to. You could just get it out of the box and run it with a class. And it covers subjects like resilience. It covers communication, performance, relationships with self, relationships with others, focus and awareness, but in an age-specific way. Because as well as everybody, as well as any other teacher, you cannot speak with a 5-year-old, 6-year-old the same way as you speak with a 9, 10, 11-year-old, and with whom you may converse with a 17, 18-year-old. It doesn't mean to say that you can't cover the same topic. You just cover it in a slightly different way. And so this program has been put together in order to do that. Now there's 50 PowerPoint programs for the child group, which is age 4 to 11, primary, and 50 for the secondary group, age 11 to 18. And that's what the foundation course does. We run it. It's live training, live online, over 8 sessions, and we do that. Now, the certificate course is designed specifically for well, it's designed specifically for counselors, therapists, coaches who are already qualified, to give them that extra, and it includes the foundation, to give them that extra to be able to work with adolescents, to be able to work with children. When I say to be able to, they can anyway. There's nothing to stop them working with adolescents and children, but it's giving them that that confidence and that extra ability with some specific coaching basics in order to I won't say transfer their skills, but in order to enhance their skills. And the diploma, funnily enough, takes people from 0 to hero with the in an adolescent coaching group or child coaching, because it includes the adult coaching side of things. Now, at Noble Manhattan, normally we've only ever said there's one type of coach and 54 different ways of marketing it, whether that be, as I say, resilience coach, performance coach, dating coach, you know, all those other types of coaches. But people tend to find their niche in which they're happiest. What we have decided, have been shown, and this was Raquel who showed it to us, was that actually if you're talking to, if you're coaching adolescents or coaching children, they are a different type of person. It's all very well using standard coaching skills, but actually they need more. They need a different approach, but they need the approach that teachers almost automatically have. They need that that speed of rapport. They need that that sometimes that mentoring of saying, well, you know, to answer that I don't know question, and say, well, look, let's look at opportunities, and hopefully the light bulb will flash on. Which is what teachers are actually very good at. So, which is why we say they make magnificent coaches. So there you have it. That's what we provide in the way of training, and at different levels. But one of the most important things is that we provide that training with a lot of interaction, with over 130 hours live online with the Practitioner Adolescent Coach Diploma. But a lot of it is at times that you arrange yourself. I say a lot of it, not all of it. You know, we can identify particular timings, and where there are specific dates, then we record what we are doing, whether it be a webinar, whether it be a training session, so that should you not be able to attend that date, you can look back on it and reflect through the recording. So those are the sort of the opportunities. But the important thing for today is really to say that coaching is an incredibly useful formal skill to have effectively on your CV for any walk of life. But why the sudden need for coaches? Well, I don't think that that's one of those questions. I don't think there is a sudden need. I think there's a sudden awareness that coaches are very useful. I think we've needed them for an awful long time. And to a certain extent, we've had them for an awful long time, but they haven't actually been called coaches. I've explained what coaches do. We've said why teachers make magnificent coaches. How do they make money? We've identified ways of making money, and that is using their skills in another job, perhaps, not necessarily as a professional coach. So it really helps to enhance your abilities if you're looking for work outside. It may even be that you're thinking of doing some tutoring work. But if you're going one-to-one, very often tutors have said to me, yes, I can get through to them the subject, but actually what they need is that ability, that mindset to help them improve even further. And so to have these coaching skills is tremendously useful in the when you're working one-to-one with as a tutor, perhaps, or even in the SEN world, those who are excluded from school. You know, there's so much more of the requirement when working one-to-one. People who, you know, children who are thinking differently to others. Sometimes you actually need to explore those differences, and coaching is a very good technique of being able to do that, to find out exactly when that light bulb moment goes on. How you can become a coach. Well, we've looked at the opportunity for training. It doesn't have to be through Noble Manhattan. There are plenty of other organizations out there. What we believe is that we have got a superb product specifically for the education world.